The point of writing is to cast a spell, a momentary creation that you are leaving the world within your views. Is it amazing? To explore the world of unprecedented circumstances, living in a remote far land, where society is far from its ideology of creativity, a journey where you develop your true self in a form of learning, a path where living and learning comes into union, and when living and learning becomes passion, a poem that illustrates the ideology of peace, uniting the diverse cultures that apply into an everyday living.
Arlene Yandug came from Maramag, Bukidnon.
Where their province is strategic in location since it can be reached through any of the cities, like Cagayan de Oro, Malaybalay City, and Davao City, a place wherein rainfall is more or less evenly distributed all throughout the year.
However, she is now currently living in Cagayan de Oro City. She earned her PhD in creative writing from the University of the Philippines, Diliman. She teaches literature and creative writing at Xavier University, where she also works as manager of XUSHS and editor of Karayan, an online literary journal. She is currently editing an anthology of writers from northern Mindanao while working on her manuscript for her first poetry collection. She also first served as assistant to the late Father Miguel A. Burnett, S.J., the founding editor of the Tinadman Journal, before taking over as editor. A poet and a short story writer, she has been published in local and national publications. Her poems and stories have appeared in national and international anthologies, online journals, and publications.
Prior to becoming an editor of Tindaadman, some students of her that is not professional says that Arlene Yandug became a teacher in her college days with a smiling and great aura. The way she teaches her students in a creative and generous way with prominent techniques in writing that leaves her creates a wonderful and significant piece of creative writing. Because of earning various experiences, achieving and earning a higher degree, numerous significant poetries were being born in the hands of Arlene Yandug. There is no questionable that Arlene Yandug creates an enormous diverse literary piece, where, aside from poetry, her interests includes local history, cultural identity, and literatures coming from different regions. Several diverse literary pieces in the past were created and will be created further in their mixture of beliefs and identities. This will make the creation of a new cultural poetry named Adhan, where the word Adhan is an Islamic call for prayer. A title which can relatively apply as the region exists with various entities including the Muslim natives. The Islamic context which can be applied to all in a way of living.
I'm supposed to say the final word on connection, about the need to reach out. The Good Samaritan nursing the Jew. A boy and girl touching silence with the syllables of hurt. But friendship, peace. The peace talks are terms that keep sliding on the paper's edge, hiding between words like reconciliation, negotiation. I don't know what they mean anymore. Then I know what the Take gecko means when she cues on the ceiling every afternoon.
Is she calling her lover? Perhaps just recalling the cool air from the river below, or the pain of the tail she lost in defense. What do the fish say to the pumps, dredging the sandy bottom of the Carmen River? Their newly hatched eggs would see the billboard, the Golden Miles blueprints, the sketch of a well-lit boulevard, and the fountain that will soon bloom with lights. Already tourists are flocking in the city of smiles, dining at McDonald's. Beside them, always a small, dark girl fingering her fries, sipping her first coffee, peaceful, so peaceful. Because she's no pride, no question yet to ask, no past yet to dig.
But in another city, a woman keeps digging for truth, boring conscience with questions 10 about her father's body, the 58th body that nobody remembers. Is she grieving because she's only his dentures for remains? In her placeless grief, where those her anger live, in a village called Sharif Agwak? I'm about to say something earth-shaking about shaking hands, about mind touching another mind and in tune, peace on earth so cogently I'd win in a beauty contest. But it's late in the afternoon. The gecko on the ceiling is talking.
At the end of the day, I will never have the parables of Jesus. The songs are already unfurling from the minarets, rising hours after hours above the tugu, the tugutug of pumps, above a warm giggle of a girl teased by white men, rising above all the sounds of this spreading city, legently tunneling to the bottomless ear of God. Think of this as a child's need to throw something upward, to see how far a pebble or a flower would rise up if it can touch the blue of sky. Gone further into the analysis, exploring why Arlene Yandug made the various choices and ideas on constructing the point of the poem, where we evaluate the context of Adhan and dig deeper by interpreting its meaning and its message. So let's get started.
The poem Adhan, written by Arlene Yandug, is defined into an Islamic term to prayer, recited by the muezzin at prescribed times of the day. The root word adhina is defined as to listen, to hear, and to be informed about. And another similar word, which is udhun, means ear. The poem established a calm mood wherein to give a quiet atmosphere to its context, and in a form which the author uses a free verse to express the message in the best meaningful way. The author gradually creates a strong scene to signify the term friendship, peace, and peace talks, where the settings are changing upon the persona's imagery. The persona of the poem views its terms as hopeful, as the poem uses a form of allegory to build up an in-depth message to the differences of peace in the society. To clearly understand its message, the poem uses several literary devices in a form of imagery, juxtaposition, and allusion, and more that will be elaborated further.
In the first part of the poem, it establishes a peaceful mode where the author introduces the significance of humanity and unity. The line, "The Good Samaritan nursing the Jew," uses a form of allusion to signify humanitarian deeds of society, as it implies the existence of good people who will help others, primarily on the edge.
In the line speaks, a boy and girl touching silence with the syllables of her. The poem implies the connection of feelings toward each other. It conveys the human needs of affection.
The author elaborates the piece in the line, "Peace talks are terms that keep sliding on the paper's edge, hiding between words like reconciliation, negotiation." It can infer that through prayer, it can indeed get the peace that what desire for. To feel the inside context of the poem, the author uses onomatopoeia when the persona mentioned in the line, "I don't know what they mean anymore than I know what the tokegeko means when she talks on the ceiling every afternoon," which can describe the atmosphere of the setting.
Is she calling her lover? Perhaps it is recalling the cold air from the river below, or the pain of the tale she lost in defense. The line where a woman calling a lover can be inferred as getting peace through the acceptance of the things that happen to her.
The following scene, where the persona creates an imagination, establishing a mixture of humiliation and peaceful mode, which is mentioned in the line, "What do the fish say to the pump?" bridging the sandy bottom of the Carmen River. Their newly hatched egg won't see the billboard, as these creatures are also affecting the vast transformation of civilization. On the contrary, the author creates a transition from the fish in the Carmen River to the dark girl who's fingering her fries, sipping her first coffee in a peaceful way, in a way where the author creates a smooth transition, establishing a juxtaposition in which two ideas were placed for the comparison and contrast. In the usage of juxtaposition, the small, dark girl is the manifestation of peace, while on the other hand, the grieving woman is in the state of digging truth, which is the comparison of the other idea, which creates a gloomy mood in the line. Is she grieving because she's only his denture for remains? In her placeless grief, where does her anger live? In a village called Sharif Agwak, where the woman still seek for the truth of what a disastrous event that affects him, to his relatives, to the community, that she can't find his peacefulness and comfort.
The next scene, the persona makes an end of his idea, which, in a transition of, I am about to say something earth-shaking, about shaking hands, about mind touching another mind, and in tone that uses an alliteration to establish an ending mood with the transition of onomatopoeia mentioned, but it's late in the afternoon. The gecko on the ceiling is cuckooing, which signals the ending of his imagination that signifies his conclusive idea of peace. With various auditory and kinetic imagery to visualize the context of Islam, in line mentioned, at the end of the day, I will never have the parables of Jesus. The songs are already unfurling from the minarets, which, the minarets are a type of tower typically used for the Muslim call to prayer,
which applied in another onomatopoeia to emphasize its city in the line of rising hours after hours above the tutu, the dugudug of palms, above a warm giggle of a girl, teased by white men.
Also uses hyperbole mentioned in the poem, rising above all the sounds of his breathing city, plungently tunneling into the bottomless ear of God.
That can be inferred, not literally that the city is spreading, but emphasizing that all of the things we're doing right now, God is listening.
In an ending statement which the persona uses a metaphor mentioned, think of this as a child's need to throw something upward, to see how far a pebble or flower would rise up if it can touch the blue of sky, which is how far we can reach something that can also relate the term blue of sky as a manifestation of peace and God.
On the whole, the theme of the poem is all about finding peace through prayer, mentioning his various ideas that the poem uses visual, auditory, and kinesthetic imagery to highlight its meaningful message of seeking peace. Also, the poem uses an allusion to create an in-depth strong message and feelings towards the idea of the theme. It also uses a juxtaposition, or a comparison, to create and differentiate the human experiences and the different ideas of seeking peace. The poem elaborates and uses sound-like words to make the readers feel deeply the inside context of the setting. This will help the feel, the mood, and the theme constructing to differentiate the piece relating the experiences of others living, questioning how people were seeking towards peace within manifestation of faith and prayer. The conclusion of her idea makes an undermining statement that we can achieve the peace we seek for through prayer and having the strong faith. The poem teaches us to reflect what is really peace is meant for. Mentioned in the line, childs need to throw something upward, implying with these lines that we are in need to reach something, even to have different direction, different beliefs, identities, cultures, and traditions, and yet we have one similar thing we need for: peace. Having the need of peace, peace that comes through reflection and prayer that we seek and asking for.
After I read this poem, I learned and know more that not all have the same situation in life, especially in financial, foods, and on treating, because others treat others good and respect when they see that the person looks so good, especially when that person is rich, and the other will not treat well and respect those people who is poor and homeless. I also learned that peace talk is very important to us, to have a society that is very good and to avoid war and protest. I also learned that prayer is very important for us. We need to ask for guidance to God every day to make our life more beautiful and to help others.
One of the most popular and soothing sounds is when the Islamic ideology is the call to the daily prayers of Muslims, known as the Adhan. Adhan, which of many Muslims and non-Muslims is living in Islamic countries are familiar with it, as one of the most significant Islamic ritual. Why is it that before every prayer, Muslims recite the Adhan? Why is it that is extremely recommended for Muslims, whether they're praying at home, praying at their local mosques, or they're praying in their daily places of work, to recite the Adhan before every prayer? What is the significance of the person making the call of the Adhan, also known as Muezzin? What is the significance of reciting the Adhan within the child's ears when it's born? How is it that they can begin a relationship based on their understanding with the Adhan from the moment that they are born until the moment that they depart from their lives?
Prayer is a powerful tool in which we call God whenever we are in need, when we are grateful, when we are sad, when we are in grief, and whatsoever. It is so powerful that it eases the pain that we are carrying. When we are bombarded with something, we always call God or whatever you wanted to call Him. As we all know, Muslims are very courteous when it comes to prayer, and that, I think, is what the poem is talking about. We are so dedicated when it comes to their prayer. They worship Allah with all their hearts and souls.
Peace. The poem reflects me to understand the horizon, to know that we have different needs and different beliefs. We experience many challenges in life, and for most, we seek for peace. A peace which the poem teaches us to pray, praying to achieve the eternal feeling that we seek for.